The Bible is a living word that reads us as we read it. It's a person, a voice that proves that time is not linear, as one sentence can confirm the past, guide the present, and declare the future. You are here. I am here. He is here. We are here right now, in the tomorrow of yesterday and in the yesterday of tomorrow. I thank you for joining today. So we're back. Thank you so much for joining once again. In our last episode, we talked about Ruth and how the Lord blessed Ruth because of her loyalty to Naomi, her willingness to leave her hometown and her family and her lowercase g gods and the customs that she grew up around. She left all of it behind because she wanted to be present with her mother in law, Naomi, and make sure that she was good and taken care of. And as a result, Ruth actually ended up being amongst the unlikely candidates that God used and chose to be a part of the lineage of Jesus Christ. We saw this in another example with Rahab in Jericho. She was the one that the spies went to visit, one of the harlot women. And because of her willingness to rescue the spies and hide them from the king, she also ended up being an unlikely candidate in the lineage of Jesus Christ. Another example we saw was Tamar, one of Judah's daughter in laws, who dressed herself as a woman of the streets and ended up having a child with her father in law. She also is in the lineage of Jesus Christ. So it just goes to show that God can do whatever it is that He wants to do, and He can use whoever He wants to use. And that hasn't ended. There are some people who we look around and see, and we probably would never think that God could do some of the things that He is going to do with them or through them. So we have to be very careful how we treat people, how we judge people, because they might just be someone that the Lord is going to birth something very significant from in the future. So, moving on, I want to talk about this woman. Her name is Hannah. Hannah was married to this guy named Elkanah. Elkanah had two wives, both Hannah and some other woman named Peninnah. Peninnah was able to have children. She bore children for Elkanah, whereas Hannah at the time was unable to bear children. That was a big deal for Hannah because her heart longed for children. Her desire was to bear children, and she was unable to. Elkanah, being both married to Hannah and Peninnah, they would travel once a year to Shiloh, where they would worship God and offer sacrifices. Now, Peninnah was a mean girl. She was very ugly toward Hannah. She had a bad attitude and she was just nasty. You ever met somebody who just had a nasty personality and you just didn't want anything to do with them? That was Peninnah. She knew that Hannah was unable to bear children, and she knew that Hannah desired to bear children, and she would taunt her and make fun of her. I imagine that Peninnah was that one who was always dragging her feet and popping her chewing gum and just always had crust in her eyes, just ugh. But she had the audacity to be ugly toward Hannah and be like, that's why God didn't bless you with no kids yet. Why you always whining? Why you always crying? I'm able to come here, baby. And would just be rubbing her children in Hannah's face. She was just nasty for no good reason. So not only was Hannah dealing with the internal pressure, the internal dialogue, that wondering, is there something wrong with me? Why is it that I'm broken? Why is it that I can't bear children? I want to be able to bear fruit that will last beyond my years, and all of these things that she had going on internally. She also was dealing with this external pressure that seemingly wanted to make her feel even worse about the condition that she was in. It was so bad that year after year they would travel to Shiloh. Year after year, Peninnah would taunt Hannah And Hannah would end up crying. She'd weep. She didn't want to eat. She just was overwhelmed. Elkanah, her husband, would talk to her and be like, babe, what's wrong? Like, why you crying? You're not even eating. What's going on? Like, I know you want sons, but that's not everything. Like, is it not enough for you that you have me? And no, Elkanah, it was not enough that Hannah had you. She had a burning desire for something more. She was dealing with her own internal pressure. She was dealing with this female who was just nasty and ugly and wanted to rub all of the things that she didn't have in her face. She also was dealing with a husband who didn't understand either. She couldn't comfortably be anywhere because there were all of these things that reminded her that she was unable to bear children. Hannah found herself in the tabernacle one day. She's praying out to God. She's just crying to him. I'm saying like ugly crying. And the priest, he's sitting at the doorway of the tabernacle and he's watching Hannah. Now, Hannah is so deep in anguish and she's praying to God in such a way that her mouth is moving, but there's nothing coming out. As Eli, the priest, is watching her, he also found himself not understanding what was going on or what this woman was really going through. He accused her of being drunk. And he went up to her, casting judgment. He rolled up on her. He's like, now, I know you didn't come up in here drunk. Put your wine away, girl. And Hannah looked at the priest, Eli, and she said, respectfully, sir, I'm not drunk. I'm sober, but I'm hurting. I'm in pain. I have anguish. I'm crying out to God. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm longing for something from the Lord. I'm just praying. And I imagine that Hannah in that moment was like, wow, not even the man of God can understand what I'm going through. Hannah let him know the reality, like, no, you got me all wrong. That's not even me. Once she checked him, respectfully, that is, he ended up saying, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. I ain't mean no harm. You know what? I give you my blessing. I pray that whatever it is that you're praying for, whatever it is that you're longing for the Lord to bless you with, that he will grant it to you. And Hannah, her whole demeanor shifted. She received that blessing before she ever even saw it. She went back and she started eating again. And when it was time, she and Elkanah and Peninnah and the kids, they all got back on the road home. And she and her husband had a date night and it ended well. It says that God remembered Hannah. He remembered her prayers. And Hannah conceived a son. Please forgive me. Let me back up just a little bit. I can't believe I left this detail out. But when Hannah was praying and crying out to God, she said, Lord, give me a son. And if you give me a son, I will give him right back to you. He will be my permanent offering to you. He will live his life serving you. I will dedicate him to your work, Lord. And she said, as a sign, his hair will never be cut, which is very similar to what happened with Samson. When the angel visited Samson's mother, he said, his hair is never to be cut because he will be dedicated. He will be set apart as a Nazarite. But here, Hannah is praying to the Lord and she says, Lord, if you will just give me a son, I will give him back to you. It's not even that I want him for my own selfish gain. I know already that there's something great on his life, and I want him to be an offering to you, not so much to me. Interestingly enough, This reminds me of something that happened in a previous episode, the story of a courageous mother, Jochebed, coming to a place of such desperation and love for her child that she was able to release him and to give him up to greater purpose, to greater destiny, even after Pharaoh's daughter found him. And Jochebed was able to wean her own son. She went and returned Moses back to Pharaoh's daughter. Jochebed released him. She released her son into his destiny. We now see Hannah, who's doing the same thing. Before he's even born, she decides, Lord, if you give him to me, I will give him back. I will release him into his destiny to serve you. And we will later see, spoiler alert, with Mary, that she too will bear a son. And one day she gets to a point where she releases her son into his destiny to serve the Lord. Elkanah and Hannah had a great date night. It ended well. She conceived a son. And then, as he grew older, she weaned him. And then she took him back to the priest Eli and she said, do you remember me? And Eli was like, of course I remember you. And she said, I'm the woman who stood here several years ago. I was praying out to God. You thought I was drunk. That wasn't really the case, but it's all good. I forgive you. Look, the Lord answered my prayer. I have a baby boy, and now I am bringing him to you because he is going to live his entire life serving the Lord. He belongs to the Lord, and I want him to stay here and worship the Lord with you. Hannah did as she promised. And she left her baby boy, Samuel, to live with the priest Eli so he could learn under Eli's tutelage what it was like to serve the Lord. I am going to stop this episode here because it's about to get really juicy as we learn about some more dynamics, even in Eli's family, and how the Lord really spoke to Samuel and how he stepped into his calling one night. I really look forward to our next episode if the Lord blesses me to record another episode. Thank you again for tuning in. It is always a blessing to know that somewhere, someone is listening to me. That means more to me than you will ever know. I pray that you've learned something today, and I pray that you will pick up your word, that you will open it, that you will invite the Holy Spirit to guide you in His Word as He unfolds some of these stories for you. I love you. And again, I thank you. Look forward to next time. Until then, bye for now.